The transcendental of the truths that are not dependent, that's what is transcendental, is not dependent upon space and time for their validity. The laws of logic are not dependent upon when and where you are. They're always true. They're independent of the physical brain. How does an atheist worldview account for the transcendentals?
How could human brains possibly discern what is or is not independent of the human brain? In order to do that, we'd have to do the discerning without our brains, and I have no idea how that makes any sense. Slick may be right that we can't account for the transcendentals, but that's because we can't establish that transcendentals exist in the first place.
The problem of evil exists in the atheist worldview. First of all, define evil. And if you're an evolutionist materialist, is rape bad because someone doesn't like it? Why is it bad? Is murder wrong because someone doesn't like that? In Exodus 20, verse 13, murder is wrong. That's how come I know. What? Oh, 2 minutes. That's how come I know it's always wrong to torture babies to death for one's personal pleasure. Because God has stated and revealed it is wrong by nature.
This is why I find Slick's ideas about morality so gross. His opposition to torturing babies is not based on the suffering it causes, at least not primarily. I won't torture anyone because I can't stand to inflict that kind of suffering. That's the most relevant factor to me. To Slick, suffering is of secondary concern, if it is of any concern at all. Slick is more repulsed by the fact that torture offends God than he is by the suffering it inflicts.
But you guys, if you're atheists, you cannot say something is wrong ontologically by nature. It can't have an innate value. You can only have an assigned value to it via your presuppositions, your desires, your wants.
I don't even understand what it means to say that something is wrong by nature. To say that something is right or wrong independent of anyone's thoughts or feelings makes no sense to me. That's why I can't make any sense of the idea that some Christians have that any sex that's not between married couples doing it only in the missionary position is wrong. There are many religious injunctions against things that cause no harm or suffering to anyone, nor do they violate anyone's autonomy, and they all seem pointless to me.
Is your no-God position capable of explaining the rationality, the logical absolutes, the transcendental qualities of that, the very nature of of moral absolutes, and the very existence of the universe? From an atheistic perspective, can you do that? No. None of them.
Well, I don't believe that transcendentals exist anyway, so I see no need to explain them. As for the existence of the universe, atheism doesn't even try to explain that. Even if it were the case that we had no way of explaining the universe without a god, and it isn't the case, by the way, that wouldn't mean that explanations involving a god are therefore true. Sometimes not having any explanation for something is better than having a bad explanation, and theism is a bad explanation.
You said that you think that most humans would agree that it is wrong to torture innocent babies for pleasure, although your own Bible says that you should do that. Psalm 137:9, the Bible from which you quoted, said, "Blessed are they which take and dash the little ones against the stones." That word blessed means happy. It doesn't say maybe during wartime there might be some regrettable collateral damage, but the Bible says very clearly that since the Babylonians were anti-God, you should be happy to take their babies and dash them against the stones. So according to your own moral code, you should enjoy torturing innocent babies for pleasure.
At the very least, the Bible appears to be saying that you should be happy to torture babies in the service of Yahweh's ends.